Welcome back. With all the really historic changes we've seen, especially when it relates to gay rights, gay marriage, don't ask, don't tell, those kind of things, let alone you would think the disabled, for crying out loud, these would be two issues or two constituencies that would no longer be politically popular, let alone ethically right to dump on in 2013. But believe it or not, we're still there, at least in some corners of Washington. Let me bring in Andrew for more on that.
Well, Rich, the Senate just voted on something called the Employment Non-Discrimination Act, a bill that would essentially make it illegal for an employer to discriminate against a worker for their sexual orientation or gender identity. While you might be surprised that that's not already against the law, the other surprise is in the bill's fate in Congress. This bill has never passed the Senate, but it just did tonight. That procedural vote will block a possible filibuster in the Senate. It just passed 61-30. All 53 Democrats, plus the 2 independents in the Senate, were supporting it. 5 Republicans had signed on earlier. 2 others, Rob Portman of Ohio and Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, voted yes. Lisa Murkowski from Alaska did not get back in time. So the thing passed the Senate. It's going to become law, right? No. House Speaker John Boehner saying the bill is dead in the House, won't even come to the floor for a debate. The Speaker believes this legislation will increase frivolous litigation and cost American jobs, especially small business jobs. That's a quote from a Boehner spokesman today. And then there's this other non-controversial issue that's somehow become controversial, helping the disabled. Republican John McCain and Democrat Bob Menendez penning an editorial in today's USA Today, pushing for the ratification of a UN treaty that creates greater access for the disabled. Hearings in D.C. begin tomorrow. This is the same bill that brought 1994 Republican nominee Bob Dole back to the Senate floor last December, pressing for passage. But that vote went against Dole and against the treaty. Some Republicans worried about the cost of business, but the majority fretted that the treaty would essentially give away national sovereignty to the UN. And it's actually still unclear whether the treaty will pass this go around, Rich. This is we're getting indications that pro-business groups are trying to mount comebacks against Tea Party groups in places in the Deep South. And we're even starting to see moderates in the House trying to form a bit of a caucus to push back against the Tea Party influence there. So once again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I went away and then I came back, and we're still talking about the GOP versus the GOP. And it remains to be seen what the party is going to do and which direction it's going to go.
Of all the stupid, gutless BS, I mean, can you for a second sit here and say you should be able to can somebody because they're gay? And I'm not even, this is just so dumb on its face. We talked about why in this country gay marriage has the velocity that it's had. It's because the younger generation, I don't care if they're conservative, liberal, or somewhere in the middle, you know somebody who's gay, you got a relative who's gay or whatever. They don't, I mean, the military can let them serve openly. So you're going to fire somebody. The military can fight wars, but you can't have somebody working at the produce department in a supermarket because they're gay and they can fire. It's just so dumb. And the disabled, that Bob Dole, a decorated World War II veteran, will go there at his age, advanced age, and try and fight to get something done, and they won't do it for some dopey answer about sovereignty. I mean,
we say this all the time, that like Richard Nixon or Ronald Reagan couldn't get the Republican nomination. This guy was the Republican nominee for president in 1996, excuse me. And he can't even get a bill through the Senate these days, much less can't.
For disabled people.
Yeah. And John McCain, their party's nominee in 2008. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I don't know how this benefits them at all. It just is baffling.
I think it's a last giveaway to some groups that have always been supportive of the GOP, small businesses and religious fundamentalists. I think it's the last little bit of breadcrumb to those groups, but it's not helping the party.
It's also, more importantly, just wrong. Anyway, sorry to end it for you on that uplifting note here, but Jonathan, as always, my friend, it's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
And stay with us, everybody. When we come back, got some endorsements after the break. Stay with us.